Daddy.
Imora is 2 months now.
I love you. I love you. I love you.
Welcome to the new people who are joining us. Subscribership is also increasingly.
Soila, what is this English?
I know.
Subscribership is increasingly.
But anyway, guys, karibuni sana. Welcome. For the ones who are constantly with us, this is.
Thank you very much.
Normal conversation we have. Well, thank you very much for being with us. For the new ones, this is the kind of conversations we normally have here: parenting, marriage, and all that. And this is our new series called Parenting Alphas, and it's just us having conversations and opening up a platform for us to be able to have important conversations around parenting. I had a particular statement that said that conversation is the birthplace of action. So it's inspiring us to just take action towards, being better parents to our children and being better human beings to ourselves. Because if this is not working, parenting will also not work. So it's just us taking the action, and that's why Parenting Alphas is a conversational platform to just encourage us and equip us and motivate us and inspire us and remind us of the things that you may have forgotten because of life. Life happens and you're like, these kids are also life. They're not just life. They are the future life. So, yeah. So
where are we shooting?
At the Mint Hub.
Huh? It's not our bedroom?
Wow, got this. This is at the Mint Hub. Mint Hub is at Western Heights in Westlands. It's a co-working office space. So if you need to create content, if you need to, you need to come and do a meeting, work away from home, because right now everybody's working from home and kids can just be, the same kids you're talking about sometimes can just be too much. And there's nothing wrong with you taking a break or just stepping away from them to just come and work a little bit. So this is a perfect place for you guys to come.
So this is Parenting Alphas episode 4. I hope you guys are really having a good time so far. Now these are the 10 truths that you must accept about parenting. We call them the 10 non-negotiables of parenting. We are not suggesting that you should accept. We are telling you must accept. Failure to accepting these truths, you will waste a lot of time solving issues and challenges that you really shouldn't be. Acceptance is key. The sooner you accept these things, the better it is for you, the better you adjust, the more you will figure out what you need to learn in your journey for parenting. So, parenting non-negotiable number 1 that you must accept is that you will never be a perfect parent. There is no such thing. Do not put yourself under depression because you think you have to do 1, 2, 3. You will never be the perfect parent. You will make mistakes. In fact, some of the most profound wisdom that you will get in your parenting journey will be birthed from the mistakes that you make. So you will not be perfect, accept it, and look at it as there's a saying that goes, the mistakes you make is the school fees you pay in the school of wisdom. So some of the mistakes that you will make, do not feel like, oh, I'm such a terrible parent. No, it is what you needed to do to figure out that lesson. So you will never be perfect. Don't put yourself under that kind of pressure because it will never happen.
Yes.
Number two,
your kids will never be or will not be the perfect kids, we have been taught to shape kids in a certain way. Society have put pressure on parents to shape kids in a certain way whereby they are perfect. You can never stop chasing perfection when it comes to your kids' behaviors. And I'm not allowing room for not shaping behaviors of your kids or indiscipline. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's a certain level of perfection whereby like every page is clean and kids naturally are wired to just be messy. Naturally kids,
they learn in the mess.
Yes. Allow your kids to be messy. Even how they eat in a restaurant, when they are learning to use a fork and a knife, they will use their hands, they will, mucus will drip down. They do not know how to take care of themselves. They are not perfect. And we have seen people who have not been parents before, or people who've parented and they've forgotten about it. Look at us who are still starting out on the parenting journey. A certain way in public places, where's your kid behaving like that? Put your kid in check.
Judging eyes.
They're just judging you. And I'm like, excuse me, my kid is happiest in their messes. They're okay. Rhemani sees a muddy puddle squeeze and he asks, can I jump into the muddy puddle? And I'm like, here, yes, you can jump, or don't jump because of where we are going. So they want that. A perfect kid, and I saw there are movies that portray kids.
Actually, as a teacher, most kids who have encountered who are perfect suffer from very high levels of anxiety because of they are perfect. Everything has to be perfect. Mom and dad said everything. So they are perfect, yes, but they are anxious. They are constantly depressed because
perfection is
the burden is just too much.
The perfection is being driven by fear of something.
That's it. It's fear.
Yeah.
Right.
So you'll never have perfect kids. Allow them to be messy. Allow yourself to also be messy as a parent. It's fine. You will learn as you go.
Yeah. Kids will break things in your house. Kubali ishe. They will break things. They will drop things. Now, if you're wise, you will remove the delicate things out of the way. It is very, very unreasonable as a parent to put a glass within the reach of your first 1-year-old child, and then they grab it and break it, and then you want to punish them for it. They're supposed to do that.
They're supposed to do that.
They're supposed to do that, and the moment they do that, they've learned, there's something called gravity. So if I hold this thing and you see, it's just that problem, a glass might end up cutting them. So if you don't want them to destroy the precious things, put them away. Otherwise, they will break things, they will crack things, they will spoil things. It is what they're supposed to do.
Yes.
Accept
it. The fourth non-negotiable, is it the fourth? The fourth non-negotiable is that kids are the parents' responsibility. Not the school, not the church, not the village, not Shosho, it's you.
Not your nannies.
Not your nannies.
Yeah.
The kids are the responsibility of the parent. What these other people will do, they just come to complement what we have taught them. School should not be the ones teaching discipline to your kid. Should not be the one teaching values.
They should be continuing.
Continuing with what you have started. The same thing to church. Church should not teach your kids about should not start introducing them to God. You should be the first person they learn God from. And then church now comes and amplifies the areas that you as a parent you fall short. So the rest are just complementary support system. You are the main responsibility into how you're bringing up your child. If we see a child behaving a certain way, we'll be like, we won't say ametoka village gani. Where are the parents?
Yes, who's your daddy?
Who's
your mother?
Who's your mother? That's it. You are the first responsibility, not the church, not the school. Parents, remove the burden. And you see, people have said when their kids are rowdy at home, they say, wacha nipeleke shule atakuwa disciplined.
Yeah.
You take the burden to the teachers, who are, some of them are not even parents.
Guys, you're speaking to a teacher right here.
Yes.
I am a teacher and a parent, and I can tell you the things we go through. Okay, not every student after all is like that.
Yeah.
But I can tell you sometimes the issues we deal with kids, home, they are all from home.
It's all from home. Where
discipline issues from home, attitude issues from home.
And
I can tell you, as teachers, we can do the best. But if nothing is happening at home, we're doing zero work.
Actually, I've had people saying, "Tabia teacher atakuchapa." So you've absconded the chapai.
You don't want to be the bad guy.
Yes,
so the teacher is the bad guy. He will do your dirty work for you.
Exactly. So just take up responsibility and don't chapa the nanny or futa the nanny if they don't do certain things with your kids.
Yeah.
It's not their responsibility. They're called helpers.
Yeah.
She's a helper. She's a nanny. She just comes to fill up some areas that you're not able as a parent.
Yeah.
But for sure, you are the responsible one for your kids.
And just to rubber stamp what Soila said, all these people, the nanny, your grandparents, school, these people are supposed to. There's a difference between taking care of your kid and raising your kid. Mm-hmm. Raising your kid is a parental duty. Mm-hmm. Taking care of your kid, that is what the nanny does. Feed them, wash them here and there. When you talk about raising your child, we're talking about imparting values. We're talking about shaping the identity of this child. We're talking about boosting their confidence and all those things. Those are things that you as a parent does. Everyone else, as Soila said, they just come to complement. So, just wanted to put that clear, because there are places you go to and the child respects the nanny more than they respect the parents.
They abuse the mom or the dad.
Okay, when the nanny speaks, the child listens. But when the mother speaks or when the dad speaks,
that shows you who's the disciplinarian.
Yeah, the child feels nothing, So that's not really a good thing, because the nanny is not going to be there forever. This nannies come and go. So what happens when the nanny has gone and you never established that kind of...
some of us are like, what am I going to do with my children? Let me tell you, yes, because you don't have anything input on what am I going to do with these children? Like, you have no clue whatsoever. When the nanny has gone for December holiday, which is like the longest holiday, you're like,
you don't know what to do with your
kids. Because you have not probably cultivated a culture or a system of doing things with your kids, whereby whether nanny is there or not there, you are still a good company to your children, and they are a good company to you. You just don't see them as little brats, little rats. And if you raise a brat, for sure, you will be the people.
You'll be the biggest brat.
Yes, you're like, I'm dropping you to your show. Sorry.
So, number next. Discipline is a must, no matter how you feel about it. We're going to have a whole video on discipline and what we've learned so far with our own children and my own experience as a teacher. Discipline is not something you do when you feel, all right? Discipline is something you do because you have to do it. Now, how you discipline your child is we'll just do an entire video, but just have that mindset. Children don't grow up and somehow figure out what is right. They have to discipline into knowing what is right. Children by nature are not disciplined. All right? That's why as early as a few months old, you teach them how to sleep. It sounds funny because as an adult, you're like, it's automatic.
You close your eyes.
I close my eyes for a few minutes and I sleep. But with kids, you teach them, that's what we call sleep training. You train them how to sleep. You train them how to eat. You train them how to feed. You train them how to socialize. So discipline, I think most of us, when we hear discipline, we think caning and punishment. But discipline is really just training a child. It's training. Yeah, so discipline is a must. No matter how you feel about it, you have to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Non-negotiable number 6. The child does not belong to you. The child belongs to God. We are stewards of these little human beings. And you will answer to God on how you have raised your kid. When the trumpet, be ready with your answer on how you went about raising your child. So this particular non-negotiable is just to bring us to the place of you need to seek God first to understand how to parent the child. And that clip you're listening to, that no one child is parented by the same parent. You know, every child you are the same parents, but even how you parent all the 15 children that you're going to have is totally different from how you parented number 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, it's very different.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because kids are unique. And it's only God who can give you the blueprint on how to go about parenting this child. You cannot instill you cannot discipline the firstborn the same way you discipline the lastborn. They are unique, different personalities, different needs, different desires. You have to take it as per the way they have been created. And you cannot understand that if you do not go back to God. You see, the hierarchy still stands. The same way in marriage, it's God. The umbrella is there. There's God, there's a husband, there's a wife, there's a kids. It's the same thing. For kids, you will miss the mark if you're doing it in your own strength, in your own way, the way your mother did, the way your shosho did it. No, you do it the way God has taught you to do it. So it's a call to go to the place of prayer once again and inquiring from God. So God, this is Rhemani. How do we do with Rhemani? What do we do? You know? Yeah.
Yeah, and just to also add a balance to that, God can give you this information in many ways. Sometimes it will be personal, you know, he'll give you revelation, ideas, certain impetus, feelings about what you need to do. Sometimes he will introduce you to people who have navigated this thing and they can be able to offer counsel here and there. So don't lock yourself like, okay, it's just me and God, and the rest of you can't help me. No, sometimes God uses people, he uses community. So just be at that place of balancing whereby you can be able to sense when God is using somebody and when he's also just directly letting you.
Sometimes when God uses that kid to show you how to go about handling them.
Yeah. The next point, children. This especially works with toddlers going up. Children will not respect you simply because you are the parent. You must earn their respect. I know it sounds like this small person, how do I earn? Let me tell you, children will not respect you automatically because you're daddy, because you're mommy. You must earn their respect. And how you do this is, number 1, mean what you say and say what you mean. This is mostly for toddlers. If you tell them, do not do that, if you do that, I will do this, they will do that to see whether you really mean what you say. So if you're the kind of parent who gives threats and then you don't follow through, you give promises and then you don't follow through, they will not respect you. All right? Children respect a parent of action.
Yes.
Not a parent who constantly talks. Stop, I'll do this. If you do that, and then you don't do. Children begin to respect you when they realize, when mommy says no, it is no. When daddy says, if you do this, I will do that. Hey, trust me, daddy will follow it through. So you have to earn your child's respect by how you carry yourself, by being a person who follows through with what you speak. If you are not sure, if you're not sure that you are going to spank him, do not give that threat.
It's true.
If you don't have the heart to spank, don't say takuchapa, and then when they do it, you don't chapa. They'll be like, this is a dog that doesn't bite.
Just barks.
Just barks. If you say nitakuchapa, make sure ni umchape if they disobey you.
Yes.
Because that's how you earn their respect. Yeah, so that's that point.
Point number 8, non-negotiable number 8. Small things will often become the big
things. Yeah.
I think it's just tying into whatever Katsu was saying, but let's say, for example, your kid hits just the sibling, and then you decide to don't do anything about it. Next time, unasikia amechapa mtu wa neighbor. Like, it's just normal for kids to
so aggressive.
You're so aggressive, you will leave it. They will grow up and become violent people.
Yeah.
So it's those small things you start nibbing at the bud.
Yeah.
When you start seeing certain behavior, certain mannerism that do not please you, and you're like, this one, I'm not going to raise a kid who's like this. Nib them. So don't assume they're small things. If they respond back to you, you tell them, I want this. They're like, no. You know, they start testing boundaries. These little ones, very smart. So they start testing boundaries from the get-go. So when you start, when you're continuously expanding your territory of allowing things, it becomes a very big thing, and then you have no way of circumnavigating and understanding or correcting what has already been grounded and rooted in that child. So The small little things, do not assume them. You nip them at the beginning. At the buds. Like a small shoot like this. Cut up.
Yeah, so, and also just to add on to that, the small things become the big things. This include the way you speak to your child.
Oh yes! It's
Be
not just
very
negative.
careful how you speak to your child. Alright? I know some parents, your child does something small, and the first thing out of your mouth, you are so stupid.
Yeah.
They do something, you are so useless. And you don't even think about what you're saying. Now, your child may not even have the intellectual capacity to understand what you're saying, but remember, words are spirit. That word has an energy. There's a spirit behind it. So you're speaking that stupidity into your child.
That's true.
So God gave you a very intelligent child, but as they grow up, they just start becoming stupid. They make stupid mistakes, and you're wondering what is it? It is your words. You're a parent.
Oh yes.
It is part of your work to build this child, to raise this child.
Yeah.
So if you raise them being stupid, that is what they'll manifest, because that is what you've spoken into their spirit. All right?
Yeah. You know what also? It's a small, again, small things become bigger things. When you start telling your kid when they do something good, you tell them thank you. Or they pass something to you, tell them thank you.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, we started that thing with Rhemani. Right now, you give Rhemani the simplest of things. Pass him anything, he'll tell you thank you. You know, it's a small thing that it's now part of his culture, part of his way of doing things. Like it's normal for him to speak out, thank you out, because he's used. It's a small things.
Yeah.
Courtesy.
Yeah.
They learn. They become courteous people when they grow up, when they are with their peers and all that. But you assume them right now.
Yeah. And how you teach them the small things, for example, in the context of for example, let's say you are both parents. I know some of you are single, but let's say you are both parents. So you constantly socialize and relate in the house. The way you treat each other, those small things, that's what they pick up. I tell Soila, see you do this. Soila doesn't do. Soila, see you fanya hivi. Soila doesn't do. So you think these are small things, but this child is growing up noticing, why should I respect that?
Yeah, mommy is not.
Mommy doesn't. Dad can ask mommy to do something, mommy won't do it. Mommy can ask daddy for an instruction, daddy will just ignore. So you begin to see your children manifesting certain things, and immediately you want to punish them. But they got those things from you. So it is the little things. Don't underestimate the small things you say to them, all right, and the things you do in the house that you think he's not
They are not watching.
Because they are just growing slowly.
Yeah. Yes, next is yours. So
number 8, or rather number 9. Children are not blank slates. I know there's this saying, we say, hey, a child is a blank slate. When a child is born, what you do with that child is what you are given this idea of a child being a blank canvas. But studies are showing that children are actually born with their personalities intact. You don't teach your child personality once they are born. They come born with their personalities, with their specific temperaments. What you teach them is values. What you teach them is attitudes. What you teach them is character. But the personality is not a blank slate. They come already having it. In fact, I was just reading that book by Dr. James Dobson. It was talking about strong-willed child. So apparently, is it 70% of a child's personality is inherited? So, if your child is hard-headed, if your child is hard-headed, before you start quarreling the child, interrogate your family tree. Where did this thing come from? It's scientific, by the way. Now, that doesn't mean that there's nothing you can do about it and that's just how the child will grow. There are things you can do in raising that child so that they don't necessarily have to express that. But what that means is that they have certain, there are things that will be pulling them towards becoming a certain kind of person because of the inheritance bit, because of what they've inherited from the parents. So children are not blank slates. There are things that are blank slates, but the child themselves, the child, him or herself, is not a blank slate. There are things they already come with it. In fact, they did an experiment and they discovered that they were able to predict the personality that the child was going to have before the mother was pregnant. All right, it was about mental health and whatever. So they had done studies on a number of women and their mental health and their mental state, those who struggle with anxiety and whatever, and they were able to predict the kind of children they were going to have before they even conceived the child. So it's very interesting. So children are not blank slates. They are blank slates in terms of values and characters.
So you instill that.
Yes, you teach those, but they are not blank slates in terms of personality and who they are.
You just now guide them on how to go about it. And that ties into the last or the 10th non-negotiables, and we want to hear your non-negotiables when it comes to parenting. In the comment section, tell us what are your non-negotiables. But this one is that parenting is a relationship. It's relationship. And Curtis has said that a number of times. We have emphasized that, and allow us to say that parenting is discipleship. They do as they see their parents do.
Exactly.
The same thing as Curtis had referred to. Christ said that I do as I see my father do. You know, the same thing with kids. They do what they see their mothers and fathers do. If you're abusive to your spouse, they'll be that. They'll even be abusive to you. They will not respect you. If you're kind to your spouse and kind to them and respectful to them, they also need respect, you know. Also respect them. Respect their space. Respect when they tell you, Mommy, no. Sometimes they don't want to be kissed. You don't have to insist on kissing them. They don't want to be hugged. They say, Daddy, no, don't hug them. You know, learn to respect so that also then they know, when they say no, it's a no. And it's respected. It's supposed to be respected. When they grow up and they tell somebody no and then they're not respected, they're like, no, that person is not good because they're not respecting me. But if you don't respect and then another person does not respect, they're like, probably that's the norm. And they can be easily abused because they do not have boundaries. They are not has no power. They are not has no power. Yes, because they are not used to, they are not having power from home. So parenting is discipleship. It's discipleship. Bonus. I know we have not discussed this, but it's just something that I've been thinking about. Bonus non-negotiable. I know if you've had a child who is a toddler and you've lived in this Nairobi where sometimes finances can do this to you, you know, where life just becomes hard, and you look at your child and you're like, this child is such a burden because there are so many things you have to do. You have to put your dreams on hold, you have to put your career, your education on hold, you have to put so many things on hold just to take care of this child, and you're like, this child is such a burden, why am I a parent? Let me tell you something that I discovered. There are certain things that began to align in our lives when Imora was born. There are certain financial things that began to align. There are certain opportunities. There are just certain things that we have been trying to do, and they began to align when our children are about to get. But it also happened for Rhemani and Imora. And as I was thinking about it, God revealed to me something. Children are loaded with potential. Children have potential. Children have certain gifts. Children have certain capacities when they are coming into this world. Divine capacities. All right? So, when a child is coming into your world, how do I put it? When a child is coming into your family, there are certain things, there are certain breakthroughs that will begin to happen in your family and in your life. Not because you prayed, not because you fasted, but because that child has shown up. Sauti Sol sang about this. I don't know if they knew exactly what they were saying, but they were saying that song for Nerea, Usitoe Mimba Yangu. It's a song about a lady who I think wanted to commit abortion and anything and that kind of thing. So they are telling to this girl, please don't get rid of this baby, because they might end up becoming Obama, they might end up becoming the president, they might end up becoming something. And what that really means is that this child is a breakthrough. There are things you will benefit as a family. There are things society will benefit because that child was born. And it doesn't start, sometimes we think that we'll start enjoying the benefit of this child once they are done with school and they've gotten a nice job. No, from the moment they are born, that spiritual capacity, that gift begins to operate at that time. So there are things that begin to align in your life because that child has been born. It's interesting you say that, because you remember that conversation you were having in church and you're just being reminded of the spirit that a kid has is not a baby spirit.
Yes.
It's not because you're grown up, you think the Holy Spirit is fully grown in you. And then a child has a baby Holy Spirit. No. They also have the same mature Holy Spirit within them. So they can still do, what's what's the name of the word? They can still do as
exploits.
Exploits. That's the word. You got it exactly. They can still do exploits in your family because they are born within your family.
Yes. Now the kicker there is how you treat this child is what will determine whether you will unlock those possibilities or not. If you mishandle your child, those things, they'll God also wants to protect that child. If God realizes you are handling this child, you are not relating with this child well, you are not committing that child to God for God to reveal to you the secrets in the child, blah, blah, blah. Those things will stay hidden. So by the time the child is now in their 20s and they are doing big things, you think those big things started in the 20s.
No.
They've always been there. And if you handle them well, you would have reaped the benefits of those things when the child was young. That's why this is a word for the deadbeats. If you're a deadbeat child, if you're a deadbeat mom,
Parents.
you're a deadbeat mom, you're a deadbeat dad, you're a deadbeat parent. My plea to you is this. You are not just missing out on your child. You're missing out on God. So it is in your best interest to ensure that you maintain that relationship with your child. I don't know what happened between you and the mother or the father of the child. Those are your issues. But as far as that child is concerned, if it is within your power, make sure that you maintain that healthy relationship. Because there are things that will never happen in your life. Not because God doesn't want to sort you out, but because the answers are in that relationship.
With your child.
With your child. It doesn't mean the child is the one who will go and talk to Elon Musk and you get a business deal. No, it's just how you relate with that child and things begin to unlock in the spirit. So that's the bonus non-negotiable. Your child is not a burden. Your child is an expression of God. Your child is an idea of God's breakthrough for you.
We can't add, guys. Subscribe.
Like,
Guys,
comment,
share this one. Share. Okay? See you in the next episode.
No.
I have to bite the man.
No.
Why?
Mommy, bite.
Why bite? Why? I bite you. Yeah?
Bite you.
Say hi to the camera. Say hi, people.
No.
Why?
Hi, people.
Yeah, how are you, people?
We're fine.
Tell them, how are you, people?
How are you?
You dance for them. You dance for them?
Hmm?
Dance for them. Show them how to dance.
Guitar.
Where's guitar? Alright, this is guitar. Alright. You dance.
Guitar here.
No, there's no guitar.